Hi guys, so this is my May book review. I've decided this is how I'm going to do it because I like doing book reviews, but obviously not all of you will enjoy them, so I'll do them monthly and then it's just one video that you can just skip if you don't enjoy these kind of videos. So this month I've read 4 books. I have no idea how I've managed to read 4 books this month because I have been majorly busy. The first one I actually finished in May. I started reading in April, and that is the last in the Maze Runner trilogy, and that's The Death Cure. If you've seen the films and you like the films, I wouldn't recommend reading the books. So the third book, in the second book there was loads of questions that I felt needed answering in the third book, and they didn't really get answered for me. I still felt really confused at the end of the third book. There was a character which was mentioned and it made out like she was going to be a major thing and you never really found out. Something happened to half the characters and didn't happen to the other half, and I just didn't like it. It took me forever to read. I think I started reading that at the beginning of April and I just couldn't get through it. It just really bugged me and it took me forever to read, and so I wouldn't really recommend them. Like, I know quite a few people think that it's amazing and they love it, and if you've read the first book, and I enjoyed the first book, like really enjoyed the first book, and then the second book really confused me and I was like, I've got to read the third book so it explains everything, and I just didn't feel like it did. There's a prequel that's been released. I think maybe if I read that it might answer my questions, but I'm in no hurry to read it because I wasn't impressed with the third book. Sorry for those who love it, that's just my opinion, don't hate me. So the second book that I read in May was Jelwel. Oh my god, what an amazing book. So yeah, the premise of the book is that there's a young girl called Violet, and she's born in the outskirts on this little island, and she was born with the ability to be a surrogate, because the royalty who live in the jewel, which is at the centre, they can't bear their own children. They die when they're born, so they have to have these surrogates to have them for them. And they're taken from the families at the age of like 12 and put in these homes, and they're taught how to use these special abilities that they have, which is why they're surrogates. And then when they turn 16, I think it is, it's either 16 or 18, they go into auction and they're auctioned off to the highest bidder of the royal family. So yeah, that's the premise, and it's about this girl Violet and the family she was auctioned off to. It was really good. I did not expect the ending. It was a good twist at the end, which I really like. I love it when a book does something unexpected. I love the characters. Like, Violet's character was very well written and it was just a very good book. Like, I read it quite fast. There is another book out at the minute which is like a 1.5 book about Violet's best friend Raven, who was auctioned off to another family, and it's about what happens to her while she's at her home. And yeah, I'm really excited for the second book. It's out in October, I believe. Yeah, you should definitely check out this book if you're into like the dystopian type books. That's pretty much all I read, and yeah, definitely a really good book. You should check that out. Yeah, I keep saying and it's really pissed me off. So the third book that I read this month was Captured. The second in a saga. The first one is called Talented, the saga is called The Talented Saga, and it's really good. Most people say that the second in a group of books is never as good as the first one, and I really enjoyed this book. The first book, basically, it's set in a world in the future where there's been a nuclear spill or there was a nuclear war or something, and the children started being born with these special abilities called talents. And I think I may have done a review on Talented, but I'm not sure. So basically they have these different abilities. There's some are called brains, and they're very good with computers. There's manipulators, like the main character, who can control people's minds. There is morphers, who can change into like different animals and different creatures and different people and stuff. There's loads of different abilities, and they're trained by these people called Toxic, who have these schools. And the main girl, Tal, when she was little, her mum and dad were killed in front of her, and she was taken to one of these schools and raised by the director. And it's basically about her pledge year as a hunter, who it's sort of like spies, and because she wants to get revenge on the bad people called the Coalition, and the leader is who killed her parents, and so she wants to get revenge on him, so she becomes a hunter. And it's about her pledge year and her friends and her relationships and her solo mission at the end of the year. So that's a really good book. So I thought the second book is probably not going to be as good. Like, the last one ended really well, and I was excited to read the second one, and I was like, it's just not going to be as good. I know it's not, and oh my god. Like, I don't want to give anything away in case you haven't read the first one, but basically something happens on her solo mission, and she ends up getting really badly injured. And so they think that there was a spy, and like, who leaked who she was to the other team, to the Coalition. And so she's like working at the school trying to find out who this spy is. Oh my god, it is such a good film. It's such a good book. I got so angry at the end when you find out who the spy is, and I was just like, oh my god, no way, they can't be the spy. I was like, ah, ooh. So yeah, definitely give it a read. Check out the first one if you haven't already read it. It is an amazing saga. I feel like not many people talk about it. I haven't really heard anything about it on the internet. I found about it about a year ago. There was a competition from the author, like if you read if you read the first book, she'd send you the next 2 books or something like that, but I didn't end up finishing it in time, because she had like a month, and I didn't finish it in time. But that's how I heard about it, and I haven't really heard anything about it since, it's really confusing, because it is a good saga. So check it out, please, it is so good. So the 4th book that I read this month is Beastly. I actually have this one. I read this because I've been working a lot this week, because I'm done at uni now, I have nothing to do, so I've had some extra shifts. But I work at a university shop, and because pretty much everybody's left, it's been really quiet. So I took this to work yesterday, and I read half of it while I was at work, and then when I got home I read the other half. And if you've seen the film, it is very similar to the film. Very good. It's based on Beauty and the Beast, just a modern day version of it. The only difference between this and the film, I feel, is that in this he is an actual beast, whereas in the film that's what he looks like in the film, but in the book he's a beast like in Beauty and the Beast. But it's set in modern day times. One of the unexpected things which I really liked about this book is that in the book he finds a chat room. This is like an example, this is the first page. He finds a chat room and he speaks with these other creatures that are being transformed, and there's Froggy, who is like the prince that got turned into a frog who needs to be kissed. Silent Maid, who is Ariel before she gets transformed, and then she gets transformed like during the book. Who else is there? There's Grizzly, who I'm not quite sure who Grizzly is, but he was turned into a grizzly bear by an evil dwarf. Yeah. So I think that's all the characters that are in, like, but that was so unexpected, and it just makes me giggle through, like, so it pops up every now and again through the book, and that was a very good thing in the book. Obviously it's a little bit different from the film, it's not exactly like the film, but it's a good, easy read. This is the sort of thing I'd probably take on holiday. If you like the film, give it a read. If you haven't seen the film but like Beauty and the Beast and the story behind that, give this a read. Yeah, if you're looking for just an easy book to read, give it a read. It was a very good book. I enjoyed it. I read it in a day, so, well, not even a day. I started reading it at 4 o'clock and I finished at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, less than 24 hours to read a book. So they are all the books that I read in May. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've read any of the books and disagree or agree with what I have said, please leave a comment down. I would love to know what you guys thought about these books. If you have any recommendation of any books, do leave them down below as well, although I do have a very long to read list on Goodreads. All my information will be in the down bar. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!